I might make my hair this color.
Your hair looks good that color. That should be your signature color.
Oh, there you go. Hold on.
All right, all right. Hey, 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 ladies. How y'all doing tonight? You know, as girlfriends, we got to get together. It's Friday night. I'm excited about tonight because we're going to chat it up tonight. I welcome everybody back to another Girlfriends Chit Chat show. I'm your host, Amira Bay, as well as my co-host, Leslie Thomas of She Network and Miss Shauna Price of the Connection Guru. Now, we welcome you all, but we got to welcome a new girlfriend, y'all, to the table. You know, we got to welcome a new girl. Look at she can't even, look, she can't even because she know we about to do it tonight, y'all. We about to do it. Miss Rhonda Evans. We're bringing her to the table, y'all. We happy to have her here with us this evening. We are excited for you all who do not know Rhonda. For the last 6 years, Rhonda has pretty much worked as a phenomenal entrepreneur to develop business strategies, brand clarity, service and product development through website design and system implementation. Rhonda focuses on sharing what she has learned over the years with other business owners through programs that help new business owners jumpstart their business. So we welcome Rhonda. Y'all, she ain't new to the table, y'all. She ain't new. She a true girlfriend tonight, y'all. She a true girlfriend. See, I like it, y'all. When you're connected with so many phenomenal women, you know, and we get to know each other, when we come to the table, you know, you comfortable. See, we know who she is and what she about. And so y'all, tonight, as y'all know, the conversation at the table. We doing something different, y'all. Girlfriends doing something different tonight. We're going to talk the dirty truth about relationships. Ooh, that's what we're talking about tonight. You know, because a lot of us have a hard time in talking about the elephant in the room. We have a hard time talking about our personal relationships, our marriages, you know, our boyfriend, girlfriends, but as well as personal relationships that we have a hard time dealing with. So we're talking about all things relationship tonight. So I want y'all to drop it in the thread. If you have a question tonight, you need answered, you want us to talk about something that you want to talk about, let's talk about it. Because that's what girlfriends do. We chat it up and we're going to talk about it tonight. So with no further ado, y'all, come on in, Rhonda. Tell everybody, say hey to everybody, girl.
Hello. Hello,
so
thank you.
Yeah, we happy to have you, girl. But y'all, let's talk about this thing. When we talk about relationships, y'all, we talk about as us, let's talk about us four, because we're all married. So we're going to talk about the women married at the table. We're all married. We all have been married for a long time. And so a lot of times we have a hard time dealing with starting out dating, moving into that relationship status. What things have you all realized as being married? Because I want everybody to kind of tell how long they've been married. So everybody has an idea of how long we've been in this game. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I've been married for 20 years. I've known my husband for 25 years.
Sure.
You better do it, Chad.
Do it.
I might not be married tomorrow.
You the OG for real. 20 years. Y'all been together 20.
It was that long.
20 years. Waking up every day. 20 years. 25. Let's do that. Because, you know, y'all, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard in this thing. You know, a lot of people think it's easy. People want to say, oh, the first 5 years is a breeze. No, boo. Let's go 10.
Oh, no.
Let's go 10.
No.
You listen, the first 5 years ain't even a breeze. Like, you got to get past that 7-year itch.
What? I'm digging. I'm digging at the flesh. I'm digging at the
It's lives at this point.
This ain't right.
We are on year 6 this year, and we are in recovery phase. Okay, so yeah, the first 5 years are not the easiest.
Yeah.
It's like trying to get to know somebody. And I mean, my thing is I married my husband when I was 24.
Oh yeah, you
So
a different person now.
You know, I was
But how old are you now? 27?
Yeah, you know.
Are you cute?
But think about it though. When you've been married that long, it's like, you know, I was just in love. I wasn't thinking about nothing, but I love you. You know, I wasn't thinking about God. God wasn't in the equation at 24. You know, I wasn't saved. I was still in the world having a good time, you know. Because you got to be real about it, y'all. I mean, seriously, how long you been married, Shauna?
Well, let me get my calculator out. 2021 minus 1995.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't tonight.
So I have been married 16 years. This is year 17, or we're going into year 17, and I've been with him for 26 years, y'all, since 1995.
Oh, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
I almost took that brother out today. You know,
But
my
I mean, you
emotions
gotta
all over the
we
place.
have to think about it, y'all. It's hard out here being married. But you know, my thing is that we're looking for, what are we looking for in a man? What are we looking for, husband? Because number one, God is supposed to send you a husband.
Let me
You
tell
know
you
what?
something.
Let's go there first.
That's real.
Let's go there first.
Let
If
me
I
tell
knew
you
what I knew
something.
at 24, okay.
When I met my husband, I was not looking. As a matter of fact, like this is my second marriage. I was done. I had been divorced for well over 10 years. I was good. I was tired of dating. I was like, Lord, it's just about to be me and you. I'm good. I don't even want, I don't want nobody. And my husband kind of, slid into my inbox. And I was like, denied. Like, I'm so good on you, sir.
Mhm.
But we went to we go to the same church, but I never knew him. I did not know him at all. But
He
when
knew you.
right, he saw me before I even knew who he was, and start asking about me. And then he would show up because we went to different houses, and he would show up like, hey, can I just talk to you for a second? I'm like, this dude is real persistent. So
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He was a stalker.
He was, Shauna. He was a
Call a spade a spade.
he was a stalker.
Persistently stalking.
I am not interested, okay? But it was one day he was like, can you come and meet me? I go walking in the evenings. Can you just come and meet me? We can just talk. I'm like, fine, whatever. So I left service and went and met him where he was walking at. And as I pulled up, I was like, oh my goodness. It was something that came over me. But, at that moment, I was like, this was, meant to be. But then fast forward to where we are right now, I feel like we probably should have still dated before we jumped into things, because we only knew each other for like a month before we got married.
Oh my God.
Right.
Well, see, my thing is I lived with my husband for 4 years before we got married. And that's a no-no, y'all. Like, you don't put the cart before the horse, and you don't, you expect him to respect you. And so in doing so, being so young, I didn't have that mentality or mindset. I just knew my upbringing was not reared in you living with a man before you marry him. And I was raised that way, and I knew better, but I was in love, and I wasn't gonna let nobody tell me what I was and wasn't gonna do. And see, my thing is I just wanted to be married because I loved him. But I didn't have, there was no counseling involved. There was none of that.
Did you love him?
I did. Yes.
She said, girl, yes.
Yes.
Or were you like extremely infatuated with who he was?
You know what, y'all? Sometimes we have to remember, is that lust or is that love sometimes? And I think we get it confused, especially when we're young. And that's what I'm trying to instill in my daughter, is that I don't want her to walk down that same path, is that you ask God to give you your heart's desire. And you have things that you would like. I ain't talking about a machine made man, with them qualifications looking real stupid. But I'm talking about just some real, a man that's going to take care of you, a man that's going to love you, and that's going to love you so much. I mean, love you like he loved his mama, that he want to take care of you. You want to be there. You want a family, but
some of them cats don't love their mamas.
I don't know.
No.
Leslie, how long you been married?
I'm glad you asked, because Amira slid by me, so I'm gonna get her after this is over. I'm just saying. And this is Leslie Thomas with She Promotes Network, y'all. I just want to point that out too.
Look, hey, so she gonna promote network. You better say it.
You know what I'm saying? It's been 17 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but I don't want no man that love me like he love his mama. That's a mistake that I think a lot of women make.
It's creepy.
Yeah, because what happens is that when we do that and we want him to love us like that, the misconception or the issue that we have, and we can't make this man over. And
Right.
I don't want him to love me like his mom, love his mama, because that's two different types of love.
Well, it is,
Now,
but you
she
know,
would
Hold
be-
on. Let us stop. Amira, finish it because you're so right.
What? No.
That's two different types of
you
love.
it's
said
a different
for
type of
her.
love. It is.
No,
You want him to respect you
I want him to respect
like he
me.
respect his mama.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you don't want that same kind of love
I don't want that
he
same
love his
kind of
mama with.
love.
You want that good love.
You
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. The Bible says that when you marry, you're supposed to leave and clean.
Leave your
And I
mama.
think
You are.
so.
Clean
That
to your
means-
wife.
Thank you. A lot of women run into issues when they get the quote unquote mama's boy. He never detaches. You are never first. You are never number one. It's always what my mama said, or when I grew up, this is what my mama did. You
Yep.
got a whole different woman. So I don't want to baby him like his mama babied him. I don't want to do that. I need him separate from that. Those are different relationships. And when women get men and they're like, he just want me to cook, he want me to clean. And then when you get a man that's constantly telling you, well, this is the way my mama did it, it creates issues.
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's when you have to tell him, well, go over your mama house and eat because I ain't cooking tonight.
Hey, but you know,
But do those conversations happen before you get married though? Because I think like you, to your point, Shauna, was she in love or lust? Like we get so infatuated with the idea of this relationship and in the midst of having fun and everything else that when he asks us, we like, yes, we about to get married, but we forget to have these extra conversations that are very necessary.
Right.
Like even, and I'm gonna take it off the man for a minute.
Listen though, before you go there, I want to stop you for a second because what happens is we may not even, I'm not even gonna say we may not. We don't know these conversations are needed.
that's true.
Especially if there's not anybody saying, listen, I had an aunt when I first started dating Marco. She was like, you want to know what he's thinking before he thinking. You want to be able to finish his sentences. You want to blah, blah, blah. And y'all, I was like, all right, because my aunt a G. I'm observant like that as a person automatically, and I began observing my husband that way. I want Rhonda to finish what she was saying, but I think we don't know to have these conversations. We don't know to sit down and not all of us. Now, before okay, I'm sorry, Rhonda. Forgive me, cuss me out tonight on the phone. But our Uncle Ty had that conversation.
Really?
I was sitting in the kitchen one day with Uncle Ty and Aunt Bernice, and they had that conversation. She said when they came back from their honeymoon, Uncle Ty sat her down. This was in the beginning of their marriage, not while they were dating, but he sat her down and he said, this is how it's going to go. This is how we're going to basically be successful in marriage and everything else. They had the conversation. They had a very good conversation.
See, we don't do that though, y'all. I mean,
No.
we don't do that.
That's
we
why
don't
she
sit
my
down and have
brother-in-law.
those conversations. We don't sit down and say, this is how we're going to do things. This is how we're going to map it out. This is how we're going to do going forward. And we're doing this as a team effort, and we don't do things as a team. It's like we're doing separate stuff. You do your thing, I do mine. You pay this bill, I pay this one. Nothing is made a decision together because we're supposed to be one and we operate as two.
I got something to say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let Rhonda finish because I did cut her off really rude.
Go ahead, Rhonda.
I'm sorry, girl.
It's okay. What was I gonna say? No, I was gonna say that just kind of even taking it off the guys for a minute. For me, I was a true blue daddy girl, and I had a really good example of what a loving husband is. And, my mother, she had a very strong personality. Okay, no nonsense type of woman. And they had been together since from a very, very, very young age. But my mother was also a very independent woman.
Right.
And so for me, I'm like, look, my daddy did X, Y, and Z. My daddy did this for my mama. My daddy did. And so then one day, my husband's like, well, I'm not your daddy though. But so, it does go both ways. But I feel like my father did set a very high expectation for what I needed in a mate, because it's like when I was growing up, when I started having boyfriends, if you can't surpass what I already get at home, then I'm good. Like, I don't need anything from you
Right.
because my parents provide for me. They taught me to go out and get a job and have my own money. Like, I don't need anything for you, but to be good to me, you know, when I was younger. So that carried on into adulthood. Like, I don't necessarily need it. But I will say this, when my father passed, it did change a lot how I view my relationships with men and what I took and what I didn't take when he was here.
Right.
I think more so though, like the design that God has created when it comes to men and women, husband and wife, parents, right? Is that there is a model of how a man should treat you. Like I always tell Marco, when you out with Chloe and y'all walking, make sure you hold her hand, because it doesn't just symbolize that you know that you love her, but that you are security for her, your protection. There's affection there. There's so much that goes into that, right? And I think that it's important for us to, like Rhonda, we do need to hold our standards high regarding what we are looking for in a mate, right? Same thing for a mom, right? What happens with these mama boys is that
These mama boys.
is that there's not, the detachment is not there, but moms, they are that first woman in a son's life to show him what a woman should really be like. So when you get the guy who says, oh, my mama didn't do it like that, or this is how my mama do it, it's because, yeah, technically it does happen like that. But here's the whole thing I've realized about life. Until we walk off this earth, fall off this earth, go back to the dust, however you want to say it, we are forever growing in some sort of fashion.
Yeah.
And so it's not meant for him to stay a mama's boy. It's not meant for us to stay daddy's girls, right? It's meant for us to see the example and then grow from that example, model that example, grow from that example, whatever the case may be. Sometimes we get stuck, y'all, just like with anything else. We get stuck in that was the best example I had. And bruh, you ain't holding up to the example. I'm gonna tell you something. I realize that we marry people and or are attracted to people that possess qualities that our parents have.
And that's sad. That's the sad part about it. Because I didn't grow up in a home where my father didn't model a man I would want to marry. Okay. So, you know, it's not, I never was given that example. I was never shown that example of this is the type of man, you know, that like Rhonda, she was given that example. And I think we as girls yearn to have that example set before us.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
What does it look like to be loved? Because my mom is showing that this is how you feel about her. You see what I'm saying? This shows you that, because my parents are divorced.
Oh, it's about to get touchy.
So I come from a divorced home. So I don't know what it feels like to have a father in the home because my daddy wasn't. So, you know, a lot of, when you don't have that and you have the wife, you know, who now is raising the child and the father has left the home, there's no example. So now I have to figure it out on my own. I have to figure out how to love a man, how to be there for a man, because there's no example there for us. So then
Not only that,
we grow up
how to
to
receive love from a man.
Right. I don't know
how to know that the way he's loving you is the right way.
Right. You don't know.
And you know what? Let's just be all the way G code. Just because there's a father in the home doesn't always mean that you're getting that too, right?
Right.
Like my dad, the coolest dad in the world, but growing up, I think sometimes I feel like my father was more focused with his boys than he was with his girl. I'm his only daughter. We have these conversations. Like I'd be like, bruh, like I'm your only daughter when I be blanking out, right?
Yeah. But those are the things you were just yearning. You yearned for something that you knew you were lacking. And so as we grow up and we get older, we realize it. And then you're learning how to create relationships and how to sustain relationships and and like you say, your parents set the model. They set the mold. So we
gotta remember that the model and mold that they had. So that's where there has to be growth and breakaway, right?
Right.
Because if we don't take a look at, okay, my granddaddy Can we say hoe?
Mhm.
My granddaddy was a hoe. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna put it out there like it really is. My granddaddy was a Rolling Stone. God bless him. God, God,
Mhm.
let the dead stay dead, so to speak. But my granddaddy had 5 kids with my grandma and 5 other kids.
Right.
Possibly 5,
I mean,
right?
that's how it was back
They keep
then.
showing up. But the examples that he was setting for his sons, right?
Mhm.
And even his daughters, we learn subconsciously, y'all. We're not learning about what you tell us, we learn about what you show us.
Yeah.
And so
Very
what
true.
happens is there's a part of us that knows this is not the right way.
Of course.
But it's up to us to make that decision to say, okay, I know this isn't the right way. I need to choose a better way, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of times we don't do that. A lot of times we just carry on the family name and we just do what we do because we Johnsons or because we Evanses or whatever the case may be. And I think that's where we stun our growth, right? We don't give ourselves that opportunity to say, okay, it's got to be a better way for me to do this.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I look at my husband, and my husband, both of his parents were dead by the time he was 19.
Mhm.
So he didn't really have, I've been in his life longer than his parents. He didn't really have that, and they were not married. So he didn't have any type of model of what married life is. And sometimes I have to consider that, like when I be wanting to put him in a headlock, take his neck off. But you have to sometimes we have to consider that, and then that's where communication is huge.
Yeah.
We omit the communication, and this is why we argue, but we're not having real conversations about life. Like, this is what I've seen growing up, right?
Right.
Because then we begin to understand that this person just doesn't know. They don't
Yeah.
have a clue. They have no model. They have no nada, right? So I don't know. That's just my take on some things. But I think a lot of times, like, I think communication is so huge, and I think we see that in personal, in business, in everything. If I'm not a mind reader, although sometimes I think I am, but I'm not a mind reader. So if you don't tell me, I don't know. Me
That's
making the
true.
assumption is not going to do either one of us any good, right? Making that assumption is not going to it's not even is it not going to do us any good, but it really renders to me that huge door opened for an argument, right? For like what I like to call heated fellowship.
Heated fellowship.
Heated fellowship.
We called it
Heated
heated
fellowship.
fellowship. Yeah, boo. I'm serious. Leslie, what's your take on it? What you think?
No, I think it really, when Shauna touched on, the relationship that our parents had versus what we have now, you have to consider submission. So submission is a whole nother beast when it comes to that, especially when you enter into a relationship and you're saved, he's not saved, which was something similar to what I dealt with. In my mind, because I knew better, I was taught better. I'm thinking, okay, I have to let him make the decisions. Now, where you're challenged at in terms of submission, and I had to learn this, I'm like, well, okay, just let him go. I got to a point where I'm like, either you gonna get it right with the Lord, I'm gonna have to bounce, because I know what thus said the Lord. And
Right.
so, and if you ain't doing that, I'm not gonna let you lead me down that wrong path. Now, the mistake happened is because the communication didn't happen in the beginning. Because if the communication had happened in the beginning, I probably shouldn't have did it, because he wasn't following the path that I need. And God says, hey, once you marry him, saved or not saved, he's the head of your household. If you decide that this man cannot do that, then you have a decision to break away. But if you in it, he's the head. Now that's there are a lot of theologians have different perspectives about that. But when it comes to submission, I believe that I want a man to love me like Christ loved the church. And how do you do that when he don't know how Christ loved the church? How he gonna lead if he don't know where to send you, how to follow? So those are things to consider. And so you can have somebody leading you down a bad path. That's why conversations have to happen. I believe that a man and a woman should be friends. lust is one thing, but you have to be friends with your man. You got to get to know that brother through all seasons. What happens when he mad? Can he handle the money? Can he not handle money? If I end up losing my job, who gonna handle the bills? Because
right.
you almost have to again start creating solutions for a problem that hasn't happened yet.
That's
And
true.
the problem is our grandparents, whatever my husband say, they went with it, because
Yeah.
they didn't know any better. My grandmother saw my grandpa through some stuff, but she stuck with him. Nowadays women, we ain't staying. You do some crazy stuff, we out.
That's right, because that's how it is. You
We're
trying
not
to
out.
That's
We
right.
are gone.
We
So-
gone. It ain't no thinking about it. It's none of that. You're right, Leslie, because it's the truth. Years ago, the grandparents would stay with the grandfathers if they had children with other
Yeah.
women. It didn't matter what they did. They was raised to stay there.
Yep.
You didn't have an option to go. You had children, you moved on, and he was out here in the streets doing his thing and having kids and other women, you stay there.
Yep, it didn't matter. You still had to raise those kids.
So Rhonda, what do you think? I mean, what's your take on relationship and submission? Because that was one of the big headaches I had. I mean, I divorced. Let me just tell y'all that I did. We were like, I said, I'm out because I could no longer do it. And I had to wait. I had to come back to that thing to see if you were actually going to do it. So I actually divorced for quite some time. And then we were like, okay, maybe we can do this. I had to, but I came back with a different frame of mind because in my mind, love was not enough to hold that relationship together.
Right.
Right. I need to know how you're going to do this because if you're going to leave me, you're going to be priest, provider, and protector. I need to see that in action.
And it's funny that you say that because both of my husbands were in the church, right? Born and raised. I became a member later in life. But I wasn't raised in the church. But my mother was the type of woman who was like, you still gonna go to church. So she was me with my friends and stuff. So, and then I went to private school. So I had to, go to mass because I went to a Catholic school and all of that kind of stuff. So I had a relationship with Christ. But I will say this, my first husband, he was a preacher, and he was a young preacher, so he's still trying to figure out who he is as a young man, and now he has a child and a wife. We got married very young,
right?
And so instead of me, like you said, our grandparents, they were like, we're gonna stay, we're gonna work this out. I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this, I'm out. You don't know, I'm Judy Hearn's daughter. So I was out, right? But this go around, I felt like I had grew up a lot more, but I was single for so long, and I was raising my children by myself, essentially, in my household by myself. So when it was time to blend this family, it was still an adjustment. And it was like, yeah, I know I need to be submissive, but sir, you don't understand. I don't need you. I've been doing this type of stuff. So it was a culture shock for me and my children. And we had to make adjustments. Were those adjustments easy? No, not at all. But even when we got into, year 3, year 4, even up until this past year, I was like, I cannot do this. And one day he was at work and I packed my stuff up and I was gone. My kids were older. And I felt like we needed that space. My son was off in college. My daughter was living full time with her father. So it was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I just need this time. And instead of me, picking up the phone every time he called or responding to text, it was like cold turkey because I needed that time for me. I needed to figure out who I was again. And one day I just woke up, I just stopped being mad. And I took the phone call. And we started going to counseling. And we eventually reconciled. Is it roses? Heck no. We still trying to figure it out.
We're trying to figure it out. That's it.
Right. We still trying to figure it out.
It's meant to be figured out.
It has to be because you're trying to work through it though.
When I say figure it out, I'm talking about marriage. I don't think marriage is meant to be figured out. I think marriage is growth. I think you're gonna always be continuously growing just like with any, y'all, one day I was sitting and I was just like, if God intended for me to be married to this dude, technically for the rest of my life, then he had to know that if we're willing, right,
Mhm.
that we can
Mhm.
work things out,
Right.
right? No matter what it is. God
Mhm.
had to already know that if he intended for us to stay married forever. And it doesn't always work like that because people be in difficult situations, right?
Mhm.
They be in
Right.
situations that may be toxic, they be in situations that may not be the, the healthiest or whatever.
Right.
But all in all, I remember my dad and our neighbors down the street, and my dad was counseling them. So my dad was a preacher. PK. I'm an ex PK. But and the neighbors down the street, one of them, I used to work with him. And so he was telling me, we stopped to talk one day. And he like, your dad like my dad. And I was like, oh, for real? Y'all that close? And he was like, your daddy has helped me and my wife through our relationship because they essentially was doing dirt on, on each other. He was cheating, she was cheating, you know what I'm saying? Like it was getting messy and nasty.
Yeah.
My dad would, because of growth, my dad was able to have real conversation with them,
Mhm.
and of course it's spiritual conversation, but he was able to have conversation with them. And it was up to them though to make a decision and say, our marriage is worth it.
Right.
One of their
That's the
sons had
figuring
been
out
doing,
part, though.
Yeah.
That's the figuring out part.
Yeah.
Like, of course, there's going to
saying that
be
it's worth it.
growth. It has to be growth there, but figuring it out is which direction are we going to go? Are we
Okay, I
going
see
to
what you're
stay
saying.
here? Are we going to park? Are we going to seek counseling? Are we going to work on our communication? Like, what tools do we need to make this thing long lasting? Because we can't do what we were doing before
Nope.
Right.
because it won't work.
Yeah, they don't work.
You have to,
Interesting.
Let me take it real quick because I know we have some
Okay.
single ladies that are in the group. I like to watch Sisters. I don't know if anybody watches Sisters on BET. Well, the young lady Andy, who's single, accomplished all of this. The guy that she's with is abusive.
Mm-hmm.
And the question always, because my girlfriends and I, we have our own Zoom calls after it's over because we all were single, we all went through this, but she's in an abusive relationship. And the question that always ponders them, she's accomplished, why does she take it? So I'm looking to see where Tyler Perry will go with the whole storyline because she's accomplished, she's an attorney, but yet she's with this man that she cannot seem to let go. So toxic relationships. What do you think toxic relationships are, Ron?
I've been in a couple of those.
Right here. Yeah.
Think, look, sometimes it really does boil down to something as simple as somebody doesn't just want to be alone.
Yeah.
that's it.
It really does boil down to that.
Right.
Is it right? No.
Mhm.
But is it true? Yes, it's the
Yeah.
real thing. Like people
Yeah.
simply just don't want to be alone. Now,
Right.
I can't say that I witnessed toxic behaviors in my household, but yet I still took on these toxic relationships.
Right.
Why? I don't know. Was it me being rebellious? I don't know. I was a very sheltered child. I couldn't do
Yeah.
nothing. So, right. So maybe it was that part of me, that wanted to just be, well, let me experience this side of things and then
Right.
got hooked up with the wrong kind of people.
Right.
Or, like my father, he passed away when I was 19. So there are a lot of things that I know that if my father was alive, I
Right.
probably would not have done because I'm like, oh, okay, let me go talk to my daddy right quick.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to worry my mother with stuff. And sometimes, especially when you're young, you feel like I know everything. I can do anything.
Right.
And we make bad decisions. So
Right.
as a mother, I try to keep my children from making them say, especially my daughters, the same bad decisions. But guess
That's
what?
right.
Right.
I was that age, and at that age, my mama tried to tell me, and I had to live it. Sometimes you got to bust your head. Sometimes a parent can't, help you avoid those mistakes. But, so I can't speak from that perspective, but, because I didn't see that growing up, but I still made those bad decisions
Right.
for small stupid reasons, really.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, and I think that's what it is. A lot of single women that I know that are attached, that I know personally, that's some of their issue. They're like, I don't know why. I just can't seem to let it go. You know it's bad, but you keep going toward it anyway. And it makes you wonder, is it something on the inside of you that's deficient, that you would want to be in connection and fellowship and covenant with somebody that you know is not good for you? It's crazy. It's real crazy.
But then you to think about it, is they still love them. They
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
It's a love that you can't
Do
comprehend.
they?
It's a little brokenness there.
I think
I
That's what I
honestly
think.
say that.
I think it's a little bit of a lot brokenness.
It's some brokenness
I
there.
remember she's lost herself in the process.
Mhm.
So the woman she was before she got with him is no longer that woman. So
Yeah,
even,
'cause
even if she dissolves that relationship or dissolves that marriage and moves on, she has to heal, and that's traumatic. So now she has to heal with all that brokenness in her. She has to heal because now you can't move into a new relationship carrying all of her.
We done all had them rebound relationships.
I mean, that's because then you're gonna climb all up in that next brother. You're gonna be ready to break his neck. Cause it ain't gonna be like the let's see that she laughing because it's true. Cause you ain't gonna treat. Oh, that brother thought he had me last time. I got news for this one. Let him try me. Let him try me because I'm
Yeah.
out here for you. And
What part do you think it is that we lose? So, like, cause think about it. Leslie's like, she's
Your strength.
single.
I think
She
it's
got
strength.
it all together. She got it going on. So this chick get up every day and go conquer the world. But at home in her relationship,
it's part of a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Like you think on the outside looking in, people are like, oh, she got it all together. She does this. And I'm speaking from my perspective, from my experience. I felt like at work or at church, oh, I'm good. I got this together. Like everything is fine. But when you at home, it's like, I'm not as confident as I thought I was, because if I was
exactly.
the person that I used to be, I would not take this. I would not stand for this. Like there have definitely been moments where you look in the mirror like, what is wrong with you? Why? Like why? Why are you doing it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you think about women who don't necessarily? I'll wait.
But think about it, y'all. A lot of times we get these men that we're with, and then we call ourselves. I don't know if y'all have ever heard. I had a girlfriend my one time said when she met her husband, he was, he wouldn't piece together well. She had to build him up.
Oh,
Teach him how to dress. She had to teach him how to do this.
That's
she
too much work.
As she molded him, she so-called told me, she molded him and shaped him into who he is today. Then he went out there and cheated on him.
Because she didn't mold him and shape him. No. She put some clothes on his back and made him look even better than he did when he was already out in the street.
Girl, ain't nobody cleaning him up for the next one. Are you crazy?
You know what she did?
I think that be our problem though, as people. We try to change people, and essentially we can't, right? Like only God knows the heart of man. So only God can change his heart or her heart. And I think that's where we get it wrong. And that's how we become frustrated. Now I'm talking from experience.
No.
This is right.
Okay, but now let me tell you, that's true. But now let's ask, because we gonna keep it raw tonight, because I know quite a few people who dealing with this stuff. What do y'all feel about single women who only want to date married men?
Oh,
that's not a good conversation for me. I can't have it.
Look, let me just say this.
Hey, we talking about the raw truth here.
Let me tell you.
Listen, y'all, when you do that, that's because
I've not done that. Let me just clarify. Let me throw that disclaimer. I've not done
you're lacking something.
Yes. And there are women who do
and
that.
that individual is filling that space because of what you're lacking. So it's a hole. So what he isn't feeling, someone else is, because
people hurt people though.
Yeah. I mean,
say that again.
People care less about
I think it's selfishness.
It is. It's selfishness.
Yes, it is. Oh, absolutely.
But and it's selfishness on her part and his part. Now don't get it twisted, Amira Bay, because I agree with you. I used to have a home girl.
Yeah.
And she used to have a bordello.
Mm-hmm.
That was prior to us becoming friends. When I learned about it, we would be out somewhere in the club back in the day, and y'all, we getting it free everywhere because everybody know her. Okay. I was like, nothing. Now, but their motto was, "What your wife won't do, we
come
will."
on.
That was the motto.
That is the
It,
same.
it is, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. Like it all go back to communication. In my household, it's like this. If I feel like I'm in a place where I think I'm getting ready to cheat on you, I am
Right.
very, very direct and bold. I'm gonna tell Marco, bruh,
Bruh.
I'm
This-
getting ready to go and cheat. Like I'm that real.
Ain't nobody
Right.
gonna show that girl.
I'm saying,
Y'all say that,
look,
like people say that every time. People say that every time I say this, but I'm gonna tell y'all what it does. It gives him that opportunity, hopefully, to say, "Well, what's missing?
But
Why
you know,
she feel
I
like
think
she gotta
you
go on the
tryna-
street?" Ain't
y'all,
nobody gonna
I
say
ain't
that to
that
your
bad.
husband.
but listen, the thing about it is you can't say, the thing about that is you could talk that and say it to you blue in the face. Babe, we need to work on some things. We need to communicate more. We need to do this. How many times have we heard this, even on
That's
TV,
why I'm saying
the
I'm
same
about
song
to
and
cheat on you.
dance, and nothing ever comes of it. And then you say, oh, so when the cheating happens, and you come back and say, well, why did you do that? Why did it occur? And
I
you go,
told you I was gonna do
well,
it.
I did tell you. I told you.
now, I will say this: if I get to a point where I feel like I'm going to cheat on you, or we at that point, we
Right.
need to end this. This
Yeah, let's
and
let it
like,
go.
if there's no going back because we don't need to cross that boundary. We
Right.
don't need to cross the
We
line.
don't have to cross that boundary. My point is that sometimes the communication is like I like for my communication to be direct, right? So in a lot of our conversations that we do have, it's just direct. Now, is he gonna tell me that? Nah, because I'm
No, we ain't gonna do this.
borderline crazy.
No, but
You
I mean,
gonna slip out.
He ain't gonna tell me. I don't have y'all for real. I had a girlfriend and we had this conversation, and I was just like, I would prefer him to just tell me he cheating. You ain't gotta go sneaking around, just keep it all the way G code. But this is
Tell
really
me.
who I am.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend was like, no, I rather just find out some kind of way. And after she found out,
Mm.
hold on. After she found out, she was like, I wish she had just told me. That's why I'm telling y'all, it sounds crazy, but
It don't.
sometimes we don't.
Crazy at all.
Sometimes we don't have. I think sometimes the conversations we have might not be the right conversation, because a lot of times when I feel like we are so emotionally bound sometimes that can't nobody hear that and or get past that.
but then you think about this thing.
Are you speaking directly to me because I'm an emotional speaker? No.
You know, Rhonda, you know how I get.
People ain't walking around like you. You few in between. I mean, there's very few folks that's gonna do that. But I'm saying that most people are not.
Y'all should. Y'all should be like, bro, I'm cheating.
But no, but my thing is
I'm
that
going to cheat on you.
but my thing is like this: when it get to that point, and you find yourself being married and single, so you're functioning in a household, being married, but you function as a single individual because you feel single.
Yeah.
It all goes back to communication.
You're single, and it doesn't matter how much you do, but a lot of people stay in it because of their children. They stay together because they
Not
feel
doing it, Chloe.
do all of that. And people will say that. Now they're not gonna come out and tell you that. You're not gonna hear about it, but that's between them two.
Yeah.
That's that conversation that they're having. But a lot of people
Mhm.
function that way.
Right.
You know, and you say, oh girl, we was gonna end this thing. We just gonna stay together because of the kids.
But let me tell you about that.
I'm not doing nothing for the kids.
I found out when I got older, you know, when after you turn 18, 19, 20, you know, your parents start telling you the real.
Yeah.
And so I found out when I got older, after my father was deceased, that, you know, there was a moment that my parents were going to get divorced. Have I ever heard my parents argue? No. Had I ever heard my father raise his voice to my mother? No. I never heard anything that would have made me think that other than they had a happy marriage, right? But he was a man and they were together very young.
Mhm.
And my mother said that they decided to stay together because of me. And I was about to graduate from high school. It was about to be, you know, okay, this her last year,
Yep.
go in this thing.
Right.
But my father got hurt at work. He used to work at Ford Motor Company and he fell
Mhm.
and he ended up having to get his legs amputated. My mother was there to take care of him, and she said at that moment they fell back in love with one another.
Wow.
But you know what? Think about the level of forgiveness that had to take place in the middle of all of that. I
Mhm.
spoke about that in my first book, and my mother and father had the craziest divorce on the planet. But what I loved about it, and all the things that happened between the two of them, when my father got sick, I was here. My mother washed him, she cleaned him, she fed him, she did all of that before he passed away. And that was my true witness of forgiveness. She said, whatever happened is over. She
Mhm.
said, love does in fact conquer all. And that
Mhm.
was my visual to this is what true forgiveness is. Everything that happened in that
Didn't
relationship,
even matter.
it went by the wayside. And there were people who'd say, I can't believe, after all the stuff that happened, my mother said, love conquers all.
Yeah.
And that was, she said, I forgave. And so, I got my own little role model of what forgiveness, what that looks like. Because when you think about the things that happen, and I won't go into detail, they found forgiveness, they found love before he passed away. And that was the best gift I could have gotten before my father left this earth, to see them mend emotionally from
Yeah.
that. Does she still remember? Yes. But think about love covering all of the crazy stuff that happens in our relationship, not even just marriages, but in relationships. Love has to be able to cover, and so does forgiveness. And that's amazing when you can forgive your partner for wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's
Oh,
true.
let me ask you a question though. If What does forgiveness really look like? Because people will have these things happen in their marriages and they say, okay, we're gonna reconcile, I forgive you. But
Mhm.
the least little bit of
Right.
something that shows up, you bringing it back up. Is that
Yeah.
even real forgiveness?
Uh-uh.
No,
You know what? Now let me tell you. Now it's funny
it's
because my
not.
grandmother, she said, "Whatever happened between me and your grandfather happened, and it's done. We don't even know what it is." I never saw one unkind, ugly word. I mean, I've been off in a distance, never saw it. My mother and father, I physically saw it, and I didn't know it existed. Because you make me mad, I'm done with you. Ain't no comeback. We disconnecting. We officially divorced and friendship, whatever. I'm done with you, because what happens is I gotta
Mm.
protect my peace. So I tap.
Yeah.
She old stick and fork type chick.
Baby,
It's done.
But
well,
that's how it is. You got to protect your peace, because your peace of
my
mind.
peace. Because at the
But
end of the
protecting,
day,
believe it or not, though, forgiveness comes in part of protecting your peace.
yes.
Because you can be all the way done if you want to, but if you don't forgive, you are certainly not at peace. So
Yeah.
forgiveness to me does not, it looks, what I know about forgiveness is that it's freeing, right?
Yeah.
So like if you want to protect your peace, forgiveness
Right.
is key.
Right.
And forgiveness doesn't look like when Billy Bob mess up, mess up.
Billy Bob.
I don't even think to say,
Go.
y'all know it's always the right
Billy
person
Bob,
to say. But when he messed up and you decide to forgive him, that means that even if something comes up, it doesn't bring back up those feelings, the
Right.
Yeah.
grudginess, that is true forgiveness. It doesn't mean that you forget what happened.
Oh
It
no.
means that regardless of you made a conscious decision between you and God,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and him.
Forgive him. Your forgiveness ain't even between you and him. It's between
It's,
you and God.
That's
To
got
true.
that
forgive
right.
him and say, okay, God has acted, I will,
Yeah.
you know, but it's so important. Yeah, it's so important to do it. Like,
Yeah.
But
I
women,
tell
we
you though,
good
you're
for
not
bringing
right.
it up. We gonna bring, because we got a memory like a hawk. We gonna bring it up for like the next 10 years. And if he even does something remotely in there,
See,
oh,
Les, I
I
already know
remember.
inside your bread butter though. I already know. See. Oh, she out like she
Listen,
about to go
no.
into the thing, y'all. She about to do it. She
don't
like,
bring it
bro, it's
up.
over. Don't what? What you say? Oh, okay.
She gonna get out there. She gonna got a lie and be like, you know what?
No, you gonna see the back of my head. That's what you gonna see. Yeah, you gonna see the hair.
Oh.
How did that mean my soul? She said there's strength and power in just saying, okay, walk away. I learned that. I don't even argue now. I've learned the power of okay.
Yep.
Mm.
And it's cool. And I think
Wow,
y'all,
okay,
when
don't even sound like
we,
okay. It's like,
but y'all, when we get
okay.
to,
Oh,
when we,
okay.
but listen, y'all, when we get to a place as women or as individuals, we have to learn to forgive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is so hard for us as
That's
women.
single or married.
Yeah.
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 Single or
To be
married.
able to forgive and to know honestly, you know, like a lot of times God will chastise. He said, now, did you really forgive that person? Did
Right.
you really forget him?
Yeah.
Honestly.
And then you got to tell the truth to God.
Oh, yes, that part.
You know,
And
and
you might as well tell the truth because he already know the answer.
You already know. You already know.
You
So you
also have to be
recognize-
honest that you can't do it either.
No, Lord.
No, well, you got to be honest in that you're not ready. Because
Yeah.
I, you know,
But
just
because that allows him to help you.
yes.
That's what honesty does.
Oh yeah, that's what I need. I need to, you know, like in the middle, like God, just give me about 2 weeks.
I need just a little bit more
Yeah.
time.
And you know, look here, I'm from Louisiana. I'm like, bro, you really want me to cook you some food tonight? You sure?
We're gonna have to edit the whole we're gonna have to edit the whole show now.
we went from
She done
Incriminated
incriminated herself.
yourself.
no, we done went from forgiveness. I'm trying to
The
get
murder.
to murder. Yeah,
No,
y'all,
let me tell you
please
something, baby.
forgive us. This is
I
not
like
I
orange,
used to be in How to Get Away with Murder.
look, we are not
I ain't wearing
encouraged.
orange for no brother. Ain't nobody gonna take me captive.
Look, y'all, we are not encouraging Leslie's tendencies of murder.
Please do not listen to Leslie.
I repeat,
I like to put a full disclaimer out there that
do not
Don't do it. Don't do
don't
it.
listen to what Leslie is telling us.
please
Yeah.
plug your ears.
It's a raw emotion. I'm certain I ain't the only one, but disclaimer, he's still alive. Everything's all good. I'm just saying.
He's still alive right now, and he probably listening to
Oh, he
Look, you see what she said? Disclaimer, he's still alive.
He's still
He's
alive.
still alive
He
today.
is not dead.
him is yet a living.
Today, he is still alive.
She said today, y'all, today, you know how we feel, women. We get to that point. Today he alive. Tomorrow we don't make any promises.
I have a question. I wanted to ask this earlier, but I couldn't get myself in there to ask it. But my question is, what is submission really?
Mm.
I don't know if
Leslie,
Mm.
She the
Rhonda,
one.
My
Amira,
dog was going
whoever
bananas.
wants to take this one.
My definition of submission is understanding that you have to deflect to, I say, the head of the household. Understanding that you're going to sacrifice and you're going to, if your husband is led by God, then you're saying that I'm fully understanding that I am going to commit to your will and your way in this situation, in our home, for our home, forsaking what I may want at that moment because you had a household. Because I was taught that God comes to deal with the head of the household. That's the head of the household. That's why it's important to marry a man in Christ, because as he followed Christ, you follow him. Now, if he ain't following Christ, what you follow?
What you do?
What
You
you
know
do?
what? But that didn't happen, you know, but that's why I tell folks you gotta walk that walk. And see, that's why you said when you want to be equally yoked.
Yeah, that is.
That's
There,
why people say it. I mean, I don't know
I
how
took Marco to church before I married
I'm
him.
saying, you know,
Wait a minute. So he wasn't, when you met him, he wasn't in church. Did he have to go through the whole stuff with your father since he was a pastor and all of that?
When my parents first met Marco, we was talking about this last night. My daddy walked through the house. Marco was sitting on the couch. He opened the door. He looked outside. Marco used to drive a Cadillac. And he said, he shut the door, turned around and said, I see you driving a Cadillac, son. You selling dope.
Oh my gosh. I love your dad. He's still real.
Listen, that's what y'all see where I get it from. So like, and my response is exactly what y'all just saw. I fell out laughing because I know my daddy. So I fell out laughing. And Marco was like, last night he said, oh, I thought to myself, well, these are my kind of folks, right? But as far as his relationship with God, it wasn't a big thing. Like, I'm not gonna say it wasn't a big thing, but it was bigger for me, I think, than it was for my parents. Like, but it was because of how I was raised, right?
there you go.
And so when Marco when I met Marco, Marco didn't have to go to church. He was never going to church until he met me. I got him in the word.
I was
You
raised.
got
I enjoyed
Girl,
going.
you brought them.
I went to church, but my husband.
You want to
didn't
go? You want to go to church with us today? He was like, "Yeah, I'll go." Good. In my
Oh,
mind, I thought he going every Sunday.
Mhm.
he just didn't know that yet.
He,
But
but he got saved on his own volition. Like him getting saved was his thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
that was him wanting to. And can our spiritual lives be a little bit better than they are? Oh, absolutely,
All
right?
of us. Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you something that I think about marriage. I think that we lose ourselves sometimes as women in marriage.
we
Yes,
do.
We lose
Yeah.
ourselves as women,
Yeah.
as mothers,
100% we do.
and we don't really remember who we are. And this is me saying this is what has happened to me, right? And so what I do believe is that although we become one when we get married, God still made us individuals, right?
Yeah.
We all have an individual purpose. We all have an individual, we have the individual things that we like that may be different from. Y'all better shut y'all face. Yoli Martin just showed up at the house. Come preach, Ma. Come preach.
See,
But
look.
I do believe that. I believe that can happen. Because remember, we was talking about the girl losing herself, and you were saying how she's not that same woman anymore because she's lost so much. I think that happens in marriage too. But I think it's because we don't really know what submission is, and we begin to submit in ways that we should not.
Got
But-
that right. Don't lose
But
yourself.
you know what? But you know, the biggest thing is that we as women collectively, we work hard every day. We desire
Yes,
to
we
be
do.
loved. I'm for marriage. I believe in marriage. If you want to be married, you should desire to want to be married and
Mhm.
be in a committed relationship and be able to love each other and put God first. And I
Yeah.
think that's the main thing that the takeaway should be from the night is when you put God at the forefront of any and everything that you do in life,
Right.
He's going to steer you in the right direction. You all just have to be on the same page and collectively come together as one.
Right.
And when you're married, you're one. And you have to love each other and you're in it to the end. No matter what, nobody gonna come between you. You ain't gonna let nobody stop you. You gonna let this thing, this like your ride or die.
Yeah.
We gonna ride this thing out, period. So, but pretty much we wanted to come in today, y'all. We couldn't leave this evening without, we love us some Shauna, y'all.
Yeah.
We love Shauna. We love Shauna. We love Shauna a whole lot. And y'all, yesterday was Shauna's birthday, y'all.
Yeah.
Birthday was today. And we love her to pieces. Look at her pregnancy, y'all. We love her. She be glowing. Look at her.
Look,
We had to invite. We had to bring some people in to tell them how much we love you. We appreciate you. See, a lot of times, y'all, we don't appreciate the people in our circle. We have to love on them. Look, she done got off the camera, y'all.
Look, you see these tears welling up. I'm gonna cry too. So get back on camera.
Y'all know this is called, y'all, this is relationship segment for tonight, y'all. And having a relationship and loving each other as women and supporting each other as women. And we have to take time out to love on each other. I love me some Shauna, y'all. I immensely do love her to pieces, y'all. And I wanted to have people to come into the room to really express how much they love her, because that's what this show is about tonight. It's about a relationship. See, we blow you kisses and we love on you, Shauna. And I'm going to tell you, I thank God for you, woman. I thank who you are as a person. You are awesome. You are magnificent. You are great. I don't care what anybody says about you. I love you to the end.
What they said about you?
Look, I know. You got to think about something, y'all. When people come under, let me tell y'all something. When people come under attack and they don't see how great your friend is, and they don't see how wonderful she is, I said, let me tell you something, how great and wonderful she is. She's wonderful. She's amazing.
Exactly.
I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart. Now go ahead, Ron, and say your piece, girl. Go on, we're going to do the thing.
Look, the moment I saw that face go, I said, oh my God, I'm gonna cry baby too. I will say this to you, ma'am. I was sitting in that co-working space today and you was about to break my heart. I was like, she has no idea how powerful she is, how needed she is, how much of an impact that she makes in people's lives. There are literally people sitting and waiting for you to take your seat, ma'am. And I need you to take it, okay?
Exactly.
I need you to take it and know that you are in the right space at the right time.
Amen. That's right.
Okay, I love you.
Well, I'm gonna go and jump in here. Let me tell you something. I called Amira yesterday. I said, look, we got to do something. I said, I think we need to bring in some of her friends. Let me just say this, girlfriend, what you've overcome just this past week alone, in the past few weeks, I want you to know that it had to take strength and courage to go through that. I can't imagine where your mind was, but one thing for sure I do know, and as she mentioned, you are an absolute powerhouse, sis. You bigger than you think you are.
Yep.
You are larger than you know you are. And that's why we're here. You are the glue that brings it together. And I want you this year to step into all of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely all of that. And we love that big old cheesy smile you got. Sure. You know what I'm saying? We just love that smile. We love that smile. You go ahead, Yoli. Don't break it down. Break it down, Yoli.
Wait, I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
Shauna, you know that there is, you know that there is so much greatness in you, friend. I think sometimes you doubt yourself, but God would not have equipped you as much as he has if you weren't the one for the job. And I want you to believe that about yourself. I want you to understand that about yourself, right? He doesn't choose the equipped, he chooses the called. He gives you what you need to be able to fulfill the call he has on your life. So you don't have to do anything but obey and show up. Everything else is done in his power. And you know that. You've seen his hand move so much in your life. You've seen so much of what God can do for you with just a mustard seed of faith. You've been through so much. You've seen a lot. But the thing is that you're here today, which means that you are an overcomer. You're a conqueror. And you need to know that, trust that, and believe that.
Amen.
Okay? You got all the tools. You got everything you need.
Everything.
And I love you. Happy birthday.
See, she
Happy birthday.
lost words. Ain't no more words coming. I'm speechless right now. She ain't got nothing to say.
And she's never speechless, ever.
That's what it's called, love.
Ever.
Love, boo. When people appreciate you, they show you their appreciation. We out here working. And that's what women we have to do with each other. We have to pull each other up by the bootstraps sometimes. We have to remind ourselves, remind each other that you are important, that you are great, that we are all hardworking women. We love on each other every day and we have to support each other. When no one else got our back, we got your back.
Period.
When you need somebody to call, that's why, lady, we have to have somebody to be. That's why connection is so important. That's why tonight relationships are so vital. And if we don't build them now in this time, in this era, the way things are now, and the way we're on Zoom and connecting with each other and partnering with each other, this is what we have to do. The good, the bad, the ugly, and all, we still here. We still hanging in there together. And we have to celebrate the small things as well as the big ones. You know how sometimes we overlook the small things that we don't celebrate? But we wanted to celebrate you because you're so beautiful.
That popping lips.
I do have something I want to say. First of all, I told y'all I ain't want to cry. Y'all done sick me. Y'all know my hormones are raging. They are all over the place. But I love every last one of y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. I thank you for listening to me when don't nobody listen. I have no clue.
Oh, she about to make me cry. Oh, Jesus.
But that's what it is, y'all. We have to love on each other.
I'm honestly struggling a little bit right now, but I appreciate
And people think, well,
being able to pick up a phone and y'all hear me,
You
and
got
y'all listen to me, and y'all encourage me. And when this baby come, I need to be able to pick up the phone and ask for babysitters too.
Look, that's fine. Cause my husband got baby fever and I can't get him no more. So that's fine.
We'll send Charlie to your house.
that, dude.
Right.
But I do. I really appreciate y'all.
I'm just singing. That's what friends are for. Shit.
That's right.
That's
Yoli, I'm so happy to see your face.
Yoli.
Aw.
Go
I see yours too, friend.
I
I
miss
love
you.
you so much.
But I thank God for greatness around me. I watch all y'all blossom. I watch all y'all move and go get. And it inspires me to not give up on days that I want to give up and watch Good Girls. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all always keeping it G code. That's the only way I can receive it, anyways. I thank you. Thank you, Rhonda,
That's so
for
sweet.
listening to me today.
Because sometimes you need
Because I was on the phone like this with Rhonda today. Marco walked in the room and he said, "Are you crying?" And
Yeah.
It's
I
all
don't
right.
know, I'm running out of tissue.
Oh Lord,
But-
not Rhonda crying. It's okay.
I'm a crybaby.
But that's what we do,
But I
y'all.
appreciate
This is what we
appreciate
have
it.
to do. This is what we do to love on each other and support each other. This is what we have to do. And we do it in this environment because sometimes we can't get out and see each other, you know, and you can't go and hang out like we used to. And this is what we do to celebrate one another.
Yep.
This
And
is what real relationships look like. People don't, I go so hard in my belief of relationships because I value, like, I seriously value all of my relationships. All of them. All of them. I feel like people are the most important thing on the face of this earth.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's not money. I mean, you know, after God, of course. But we are, and how we treat each other, how we communicate with each other, how we love on each other, how we help each other,
Yeah.
our honesty with each other, it makes a difference in how we value each other. It just does. That's why you can tell me the truth and I'm okay with it. Where the heck is Candace?
Sean,
Yeah,
you
we
know
be
I
it.
love you. Know I love you, girl. Because in the midst of this, you know, I still got my bag. At 8 o'clock, I got that bag.
You got your bag.
Got that bag. I ain't done. I'm done.
Listen, y'all messed me up and I forgot because I wanted to get a bag. It's okay though. I got stuff to do. I got goals.
But look,
But I appreciate everything. I appreciate that. The word of encouragement.
and you got this thing, girl. You got it. We
It's
believe
needed.
it.
Yeah.
You can
It's
do it.
needed. My
See,
girlfriend said to me last night, "I'm ready for you to come out of this funk." And I'm coming.
You
It's
come
been a long funk.
Yep.
And I'm
And
tired of being funky.
And that's how we are as women. We getting them funks, we getting those moles. And sometimes you gotta have people pull you up out of the hole, girl.
Yep.
Trust me.
That muscle, girl.
Sometimes it's like that.
Does
But
this
we
mean
are
I can
happy
come to
that-
your house and eat this
Huh?
weekend? I'm talking to a mirror.
Uh,
I'm trying to get a meal now.
oh,
Trying-
look, you gonna come to my house? I'll cook for you. Yes, my daughter will cook for you.
Cook.
My daughter, oh child, I can burn the kitchen, but yeah, cook for you, boo boo.
See,
I appreciate y'all for real, for real. I thank y'all so much.
we
I
were
did not
trying to figure
expect
out a way to surprise you. And I was like, Amira, let's do
That
it.
was a great idea. I didn't even. I told her. I said that's a phenomenon. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And
You
we-
know, let's
yeah,
do
I
it.
appreciate
We wanted to just have a great time this evening, but as always, like most shows do, they always come to an end. All the love.
in this stream. We ain't gotta come to an end. We could have a little birthday party.
But I thank everyone for being a part of
Tasty.
Girlfriends Chit Chat tonight for our relationship segment. I hope everybody was able to get some information about tonight's show. We thank you for being a part as always. Catch us on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 3.5 Hindsight Media Radio Station, as well as Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we thank you so much. Catch us on Pandora and iHeartRadio. And as always, we'll see you again next Friday at 7 p.m. We got another girlfriend to bring to the table, y'all. So we have a good night, y'all. Have a great weekend. Love y'all.
Just in the stream, Amira. Leslie jumped off. She shouldn't have jumped off.
She's looking like how in the stream.
You the host now. They don't. And she still did. Rhonda, in the stream.
Oh. I'm on my phone, so I don't think I can.
Yeah, you can. Go to you the host. Okay, she back. Tell her to end the stream. Of course, this will be on. Oh God. Amira.